Denzel Ward. I mean, what can you say just about how Denzel has stepped in for you guys and gotten off to such a great start?
He's done well, and I'm proud of him. We all should be, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, he got a lot of improving to do, but he fits right in, and and I'm very happy on how well he's acclimated to the NFL and to what we do and to his teammates, and that's good. You know, he has to fit in the locker room, and he does, and he gets an opportunity to play the ball game the way it's supposed to be played. And I say this, with a smile on my face, but the things that you can't coach is instincts. You either have that or you don't. And he has instincts. We have several other guys in that room too that do have some instincts that are rare instincts. We just got to continue to improve. He's just a rookie still, and will continue to improve. And every day is an interview. When he goes out on the practice field and he comes to the meeting rooms, and he responds favorably, and I'm very proud of him.
How do you disguise what you try to do defensively against Phillip Rivers?
It's hard, and we've had an opportunity, this year and last year to go against some of the top quarterbacks. I have a lot of respect for him, gone against him a bunch of times. He's one of the best at figuring things out. He's got a competitive spirit that you can see why he's such a good leader, because of how hard he competes, every time, even practicing against him a long time ago. He competes that way every single day. He leads his team well, and he understands the methods of operation on how to, if he can, knock us out of disguises or show up for him. And he does a really good job with that. And you guys can watch this, in the ball game. Watch how many times Phillip Rivers has the feel of taking the play clock down to 1 until you get a chance defensively to tip what he's going to do. That's some of the things I've been talking in our room. I talked about it last year when we went out there and played. He did a great job of that last year out there. Not very many quarterbacks will take it down inside of 5 seconds on the play clock. He'll take it down to 1. He'll take it down to 2, and he knows how to still get the ball snapped because he knows the defense is going to declare. And if you declare a fraction of a second, he's got it processed. I have a lot of respect for him, and he works hard at his craft, and he's playing very well right now. He's playing at a high level.
With Joe Schobert, why do you think he's been able to make more of the kind of splash plays this year?
He's not overthinking. And let's go back to one of the things I said back in June, I think maybe. The first time Joe Schobert had a chance to play inside linebacker in the National Football League, high school, college, is all of a sudden here in minicamp last year. And then there's a lot of processing to go on with that. He's a really, really good athlete. I'm talking about an excellent athlete. And then on top of that, he's very smart. He's very prideful. He doesn't ever like making a mistake. So now, on top of all that, the stuff I pile on the middle linebacker. Our middle linebacker is the quarterback in and on the defense. So what we just talked about, Phillip Rivers, that's what Joe does. I have just a huge smile on my face talking about this. You can't believe the difference of last year to this year in just talking football with him. He's a football junkie. He listens to every single thing that goes on. He is ahead of coaches in certain areas. And all the really good players that I've had, especially that play that position, that's what they do. They're a coach on the field. He has to be an extension of me on the field. And one of the things that it took a while for people to understand here, the defense that we play on a particular rep is not what Gregg Williams calls, it's what Joe Schobert calls. Now, lots of coaches can't do that because of their ego. I have to be in charge. No. Hey, on game day, I just got to help out. They got to be in charge. And then how do you go about getting players to understand, to have the power to do that and lead the team? He more than handles that. So on top of the things I just talked to him about is, now he's not over processing. It's coming so fast to him, now he can go make plays. Now he's going and athletically making some plays. And I tease him, about once a week I'll tease him that if he won't show up on the injury report with poor hands, he could be leading the National Football League as a middle linebacker in interceptions, and because he can get around the ball. So he's taking a lot of strides in that, and he's doing very well.
He seems real. He's real personable, but he seems quiet.
That's natural.
Is that how he is?
Yeah, that's
in the meeting
natural.
rooms
He's a
and everything?
natural person that way, and he appreciates when I say this. Leadership's not by voice; it's by actions. So you can quietly respond, you can loudly respond, but when now all of a sudden you talk, they're going to listen to you because of your actions, not because of your words. Okay, we got guys that were around talk. We just I'm not listening to that stuff. You're not doing it, and they constantly will push him to the side. The respect he has in the room is outstanding. The respect that he has on the field during the game is outstanding of his teammates, and there's really no way I could really make you understand how much he actually does during a game on controlling everybody out there. He's as good as I've ever had.
So what do you think about the matchup then, him matching wits
It's
with,
very good.
with Phillip?
And that's a great question, Mary, is that, as soon as we left the game last year, he got on the bus and he wanted to talk about that. So we've gone back and revisited comments and notes that we were talking about last year, okay? That there is some experience factor there. So now what you felt and what you heard and what we were doing, how's that going to be this year? Okay, is this going to be a competition between you and him? And it is, but yes, and he learned a lot. And it's harder when we were playing him at home because Phillip could listen to everything he was saying. Now, the way our crowd's going right now, which is fantastic, it reminds me of the old days when I was coming up here with the Houston Oilers and how loud it was in the old stadium. I'm telling you, in both games here, the last two home games, this is what we want. Joe Schobert cannot hear the call I'm going into the helmet. He can't hear it. It's so loud. Well, guess what? The offense can't hear Phillip Rivers either, and that's what we want. So we have a mechanism of how we get the call in even when you can't hear the communication process. That's what we want. There's not as much of a battle will be going on in this game because Phillip can't hear, Joe can't hear because of what's going to be going on there. But last year was a great learning experience for him.
Coach, on the topic of fans, two topics that fans are talking about. The color rush jerseys, they're starting to be a superstition. You wore them twice, you won twice. You only get to wear them 3 times. How do you weigh in on the color?
I love it when the players are happy about that, but you know what? I really don't get involved in it. I wear the same gear every week, so it doesn't make any difference what they wear. Okay, so, but the guys, it is meaningful to the guys. That's a big part of, society today, and all that kind of stuff. And I smile and laugh back to the old uniforms that I was a part of, back 30 and 40 years ago. Okay, those are kind of cool when they start coming back. I like some of those things when they start coming back. But I really don't even know the rules, on how many times they can or can't. I just show up and put on and whatever's hanging in the locker.
Second issue, the rally possum. Brown's team shop's actually now selling possums. Weigh in on the possum. It could have been an eagle, it could have been a bunny, but unfortunately.
I thought it was funny, and I just saw it a couple of days ago. I grew up hunting those things and had to eat them. So I grew up on a farm, and we had to do those type of things. So, and there's a special way you have to cook them if you're ever going to eat them. So I won't go into that.
You don't have a color rush outfit hanging in your
I don't, for whatever reason, Brad has not put one in my locker yet, and I get all kinds of static and text and jokes from former players and coaches I've been with other places too when they see me in different color stuff anyway and a new team and all that kind of stuff. So I can only imagine what it would be like if I ever got caught up in the rush stuff.
I think if I heard you correctly, this was the first time, or last year anyway, was the first time that Joe Schobert was a middle linebacker. I know he was an outside linebacker here early. So how did you know that would be the best spot for him?
Did a lot of research on everybody when we come into a place. More than just the normal film of a normal scout. I'm talking about going back to high school days, junior high days. That's just one of the niches that I believe in. And my son, the linebacker coach, is even better at that. So, we went back into all different types of things he's done in his life on how can we mentor, how can we coach, how can we lead and help him in different ways. And we kind of spotted some things early on. If you've never seen some of the videos of him playing basketball, well, all of a sudden you see that space play. You say, well, he ought to be able to get behind the ball and play space play too. I don't know why they only let him play outside linebacker in college. Why don't you put him back there too? So there were some thoughts going on with all that on how different sports transition and help you athletically in the sport that you're in. And then, we put him out here and got a chance to in the off season to, with not much pressure, still put him in a situation to see if he could respond. He was responding daily. One of the things that I wish I need to do a better job of, he's a very good outside linebacker rusher. Maybe I haven't rushed him enough. So I think about that each week in my checklist of things, of how we'll trick the package to where all of a sudden he's ended up. And he's out there where Avery is, or he's out there where Miles is, or he's out there where Emmanuel is, because he has a very good pass rush ability himself too. So the more you can do, the better you are, and I think that's what we do schematically, is that I try to fit the scheme to them, not them to the scheme, okay? We're going to try to do things as best, and we've morphed even into this year to the kind of guys we have this year. There's some subtleties differently this year schematically to what we're doing, because this is the guys that we got here this year, and this is what they do best. So he can do a lot of things, and I think we're just scratching the surface with him.
More to go from 13 takeaways last year to 15 already through
Yeah, I thought we were allergic to him last year. Yeah.
15 this week. Is it more guys being in your system for a second year, or more personnel changes? Or
I think it's ability first. And, one of the things when you look back, this is another thing from a scouting thing, you look back. If a guy in high school and college is never taking the ball away, what makes you think I could make him do it? It's easier at those other two levels, and all of a sudden they get here and it's harder. So you have to have some ability and some instinctiveness to be able to do that. You also have to have some hand skills to be able to do that. And then the confidence that you understand what we're doing another year. You're not thinking as much about technical scheme stuff, but you're thinking about now making plays on the ball. There's lots of different factors. And then, but more importantly, it's the confidence factor. And I tell them all the time, that takeaways are these three things. It's attitude first, population second, and technique third. Okay, what does that mean is, you got to make sure it's the highest priority of what you've got going on defense. Okay, get as many people around the ball as you can. And now I'll teach you as much technique as I can, and we as coaches will teach you as much technique to finish the play. And they're doing a good job with that, but I just, they get irritated at me is we could have a lot more than we have. I think I've counted 13 balls that we've had two hands on the ball, 13 more. So we just got to keep going.
You was telling us about takeaway Thursday.
We have a philosophy of how we prepare, and I started doing this back, in the 90s. It was funny, and Pete Carroll came by the Redskins a long time ago when I was doing it there too. But we have a philosophy for each day of preparation, and then the routine of preparation. You don't show up on Sunday and be shocked because you're playing well. You don't show up on Sunday and be shocked that you're not prepared. So there's a preparation process. So we have each day there's some type of a philosophy or a theme for the day, and that Thursday, because it's T&T, Thursday and takeaway, it's Takeaway Thursday, and it's just another way to emphasize that. We've been doing that for really about 25 years. Wherever I've been, we've been doing that. And then how do we teach? Back to my special teams coordinator days, is that once we possess the ball, how you turn it into a return. And you turn it into a schematic return. We need to score. We're taking the ball, okay, when we're going to score. We got to put points on the board. We got to do that type of stuff. And been blessed to have a couple of teams in years past that were just dominant with that. Okay, and then when we start separating the score, now watch Miles rush. Now watch Avery rush. Now watch some of these other guys rush the passer, because you're separating the score. We got to do that better.
Is that as well as you've seen Jabrill play against the Ravens?
He played well, and off the top of my head, I thought he had some really good games last year too. I think he was around the ball really good last week too, but I see it every day in practice. And some of the things that you don't see, you guys don't get a chance to see, is his, again, how smart he is. His verbal communication skills on what he does, similar to Schob's. You know, it goes from the middle linebacker to the safety core, and the safety core are the second team quarterbacks of the defense on how they have to communicate and get alerts and stuff. He does a great job with that. He's very vocal with that. And it's starting to show me how much more confident he is in understanding what we're doing, because you can't shut him up at practice, okay? And that's what we want. Good defenses are vocal, okay? They're vocal, and they're telling everybody, and so what, okay, stop us, okay? And that's the confidence and the swagger you got to have at those positions.